Hey guys, this is I Need Peeling, and this is part 2 of the coaching review for Alienteavend and Overwatch Dojo. Let's roll.
Pace, and you have to follow that with the ult. So that's a thing that you can practice.
All right, I'll definitely work on that.
All right. Okay. Okay. What about now? What about this situation?
So I kind of went behind, but there's probably someone on the right
Mm-hmm.
who's still behind me. Um, let's see. Not a lot of time left. There's a healer in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what to take from here.
So, this the downtime here, like making your student piece through it, is good. I think it's good as long as your student's attention span can handle this, and it seems like this student can. That's fine. I would be mindful of getting to a point in it where the student just feels like I don't know, like just tell me the answer. Um, this is a better approach with some students than with others. I think you know your student well in this situation, and this is fine in this situation. Just I guess know your audience, which I think you do.
Okay. What can you tell me about your positioning? Is it good?
Definitely not. I'm exposed. I mean, I thought I was behind most of their team, but there's definitely somebody to the right still.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so again, I'm exposed here.
Yeah, a little bit. There's a hawk somewhere around you, I think. You just got rezzed. It wasn't a really bad thing to try to flank them. That was a good intention, and they are actually focusing on the frontliners of your team. So this is the situation where you can actually flank. You still have the recall if anything goes wrong. You still have a lot of blinks to position around the battlefield. So that's actually not too bad. You just need to pick your targets well and make sure that if they turn around, if they notice that you are here, then you are quickly getting out of that position. That was a nice one on the Ana. Okay, good job. Okay. All right. Let's watch that again. Okay. Uh, what about the Mercy? We discussed this. It's really hard to try to get a pick on the Mercy when she's flying around like that. So
Mhm.
I would just recommend avoiding her entirely. If she is not discording and if you don't get help, it's just a waste of time. Okay. What do you think the best target is after the Mercy right now?
Um, would say the Zarya. She was pretty low health. I
Mm-hmm.
think she ended up getting a Discord on her.
Yeah, in just a sec, she will get a Discord.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Killing the Zarya anytime is really important because she is able to do a lot to her team. Not only she is able to shield any teammate that is getting low, not only she is able to shield herself, if she manages the shields well, she can do a lot of damage. And also she has a game changer ult. So getting rid of the Zarya as quickly as possible is nearly as important as getting rid of the Mercy. She can do a
mhm.
lot. So if you are able to target the Zarya, then do so. If you are able to do that safely, that is. Okay, that recall was a little bit miscalculated. You are still recalling into the Hanzo ult, but it wasn't that big of a deal. And that scatter arrow was a little bit unlucky.
Almost there, Devo.
I think that's a fair evaluation. You know the game better than I do, but this all seems pretty much right on.
Yeah, I probably didn't even think he was there even after seeing the ult. So
Yeah,
yeah.
That was the thing I wanted to mention, that you can expect that the Hanzo, he was basically playing the same spot throughout the whole game. So when you have a sniper like that, it is important to either stay behind the front line or try to make sure that you are not exposing yourself. Okay, what about that move?
Uh, yes. So I basically probably wasted a recall when the Mercy probably could have healed me, and then I
Mm-hmm.
probably could have threw it and then recalled, and then got out of there safely. I think
Okay,
I just threw to see if I could, save the point or something like that.
okay. Do you think you have a chance here to try to save the point?
Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's mainly because they have a Zarya. Um, so yeah, you waste the recall here. It's really not recommended to go into a situation like this without your recall. That's
Mhm.
one thing. The other thing is that your teammates are recently went down, so you won't really have a chance to contest the point long enough for them to get back and contest with you. You can try to stall the point in overtime, but only do so if you see that your teammates will be able to get back and contest with you, because you're not gaining anything if you just go in and die. Okay?
I may have some feedback on this and how it like relates to King of the Hill and so forth. I may have questions about this later, but for now let's move on.
Gotcha.
All right. And the next thing is you use the ult here, but it really doesn't have a purpose right now. So it's the same thing as before. Your allies won't be able to make it back, and you are a too easy target for the enemy to damage. You don't have a recall, so you are nearly sure that you will go down. You will spawn far away from them, so you will have to walk a lot. So there's a lot of things that can go wrong when you die in a situation like this. Okay.
Got it.
All right. And wasting the ult is important because the choke can be defended pretty well, and if you have an ult for that part of the game, that can make a difference. Killing anybody here is not really making a difference because they spawn close. They can get here easily while you have to walk half the map back to get back to your team.
Yeah, let's just hold it like right here.
All right, let's just go forward until you regroup. It's a little bit laggy on my end. Okay. What can you tell me about this position?
Um, Went up there thinking I'd be able to fire down, but then pretty much the fair just had a direct line of sight on me, and so she shot basically right at me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably still exposed even if my team was in front of me there.
Yep.
That was good. Just the one question. It doesn't slow things down too much. The student tells you the answer. He feels good about himself because the answer was correct.
I almost have hammer down.
Oh, that was a nice one on the Hanzo.
I would, again, as discussed earlier, this player's playing really well, so no need to really get excited when he makes a good play. If he's getting his butt kicked to this point and he gets a nice kill on a Hanzo like that, definitely punch up the excitement. So this is appropriate for right now, but might not be as appropriate if he is not playing as well.
Okay. What about now?
Right. So Mercy flew in. She's definitely going for the res.
Mm-hmm.
So I was backing out as she starts coming in. So I went kind of back in to see if I could get her.
Okay.
Then it's a little too slow on that.
Yeah. So it lags for me quite heavily. Not sure if it is a thing on my end.
It seems to be all right on mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, hope it will
Yeah, I'm having trouble seeing what happened right there.
get better. Not sure what's going on. Do you mind if I refresh the page?
Oh yeah, of course.
You will have to get back, but it usually fixes the site. Basically, everyone has a clear line of sight on you. Diana can sleep you, nade you. What I wanted to get from you is you are a little bit too exposed.
Yeah.
Getting into the enemy team. Diana has a clear line of sight. Basically, everyone has a clear line of sight on you. Diana can sleep you, nade you. The Hawk can hook you, so not a position that you want to be in.
So I would extend this a little further and tell him, you may be about to say this, but tell him, should we give up the Hanzo? Should we let the Mercy res? Should we go here and try to kill the Hanzo again? What are you looking for from your student here?
And yeah, about the Mercy res, you could have stayed instead of jumping away for a little bit longer and may have been able to kill that Mercy.
So you ended up doing as advised. I would have said something about his positioning. Like, did you want him to do it from in front of the Hanzo, or did you want him to do it from that little alleyway right there?
I mean, that was a nice one on the Hanzo. Okay. Anything here?
Looks like I kind of finally found my way back behind my tanks for a little bit, but the Mercy's ulting.
Mm-hmm.
So Junkrat killed Farah. I was just trying to poke at her. So she's probably about to get res by the Mercy, which is what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed the Roadhog used his hook at that moment too.
Yeah, I think my biggest note. You're doing fantastic work here. The questions are sound. The student is learning. The student feels positive about his performance. I feel like everything's working in this session. I think I have two big notes. The first one is pacing. I think getting into the teaching points a little faster and getting through them sometimes a little faster may be helpful for some students. This student may like this pace just fine. I think for some students you'll just want to be aware that pace may be an issue. And then the other thing was I had another note that I wrote down after doing part one, and now I need to go check and see what it was. But in the meantime, let's continue.
Basically just kind of shooting at the fair, but I probably don't really have a good chance at killing her from there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what else.
Alright, this is just a slight thing. Shooting at the Farah is not bad because you don't really have a better target right now. You don't want to expose yourself and go in the middle of the enemy team. However, you should use the shield a little bit more actively. What you can see in the following second is that you step away from the shield, basically allowing the lucky shot from the Farah to hit you if she tried to hit you. Hug the shield a little bit closer.
Gotcha.
So you will be safe.
Shit.
You may, so I don't know if you have your students take notes at all, but a lot of these conversations are very detailed, and you may want to sum it up with, this is, you mentioned the practice the practice point about bots earlier. Um, so teaching your student how to fix his mistakes, or instead of don't do this, oftentimes you are saying don't do X, do Y instead. But it also helps to generalize that to always be thinking of, in general, what is the world of Y that you want to live in? Like, what is the good thing you should always be looking to do? You spent some time talking about that in the early part of this video. But I don't know. Let's continue.
Did not mean to do that.
Okay. This was nicely done. You saw that the Farah is focusing on you, and you decided not to fight that fight.
Hmm.
Good. You spotted a subtle nuance and praised it in the student. That kind of thing is really important.
Well done. Getting back behind the shield again. That's also cool. Anything regarding the positioning or the ultimates of the enemy team? Because that's another important topic.
This is good. This is pretty high level stuff. I'm looking forward to this discussion.
I probably was not thinking about what ults might be coming next, and I probably couldn't even tell you right now what. But Zarya definitely didn't use her grab at this point. And Pharah didn't use any ult that I saw. Well, she used it last time I fought her, but that was a while ago, so she could probably have it too.
Okay.
Roadhog, yeah. Pretty much they all probably have ult.
Yeah. So Mercy just used her, that's for sure. But the Zarya didn't really use anything for a long while, and also what you said, the Farah. So in these situations, you just want to make sure that you are spread a little bit away from your team, making sure that you're not getting into the grab.
Yeah, I think she actually grabs right here.
Dragon Blade! Oh, that's like 4 ults. Holy shit.
Okay.
Switching over.
Let's see that again. Okay, again, this is the same thing going for the Hog. He was not boosted right now, but he can just deny a lot of damage when he's taking the breather. That's 50% of your damage, basically nullifying your ult. So he is not the best target to
Dragon Blade!
currently.
Oh, that's like 4 ults. Holy shit.
And yeah, they use the ults, so it's important to pay attention to the ult timing if you can do that, just to make sure that you're not getting caught in these kinda ultimates. You can usually try to predict the enemy's area, because they tend to get a bit more aggressive, charging in front of their team, and that should tell you that they want to use the grab, so it's time to blink away.
Gotcha.
Okay, if that's the case, let's do a little bit of flank and sweep.
Alright.
They're all like half. The Mercy's back.
Nice one. Okay. The initial attack was good because you used the element of
Let's do a little bit of
surprise,
flank and sweep.
and you coordinated well with the monkey. Only the Zarya paid attention to you, but you fought her really well.
Good. Good.
What is important here, that if you have a tank body to play with, you should try not to expose yourself, not to be the front line. So the monkey is quite big, and you can use him as a mobile cover, basically. And in these situations, when you jump together, that's how you want to play, because he can take a lot of punishment, and you can't really do that. And that will save your recall and make sure that you have it when it's really needed.
They're all like half. The Mercy's back.
And anything that you notice here?
Well, our team is pretty much pushed a lot farther back for me. I got the Zarya, but it looks like I probably was gonna charge right towards the enemy rather than just getting to safety there because I didn't have a recall at this moment to get out of a bad situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you also nearly had your ult
They're all like
when
half
you started flanking the
versus
enemy.
back.
And then you charged it, but was too aggressive, and they were able to get a headshot on you. So in this situation, it may be just worth it to try to bomb somebody, and with that kill, the team just might be able to contest for a little bit longer, but right now I think most of your team is dead. So just generally try to pay a bit more attention to the ultimate timing and don't expose yourself when you are nearing the completion of the ult. Even if you get one pick with it, that is usually worth it.
Ooh.
Okay, that was a little bit.
Yeah, a waste, pretty much a waste.
One challenge here is that there's not. I don't think they have a shield right now, so there may not be quite as obvious of a target. But I mean, yeah.
All right. Quickly realizing the mistake there. Okay. All right. What can you tell me about these few seconds?
Pretty much jumping around, not really having any target to go until I see the Mercy. Try to get her, but there's just kind of a little too much going around. She flies away because she knows I'm on her. Try to get on the Ana who's discorded, but again, I probably don't pick a target fast enough to really make any good moves.
That's the most important point here, is that you are not picking your target well, and you are not picking your target at all, basically. You are just jumping around doing a little bit of damage here and there, charging the ult nicely, but you should really try to work together with your team to get picks, because without picks the enemy will be able to heal up with the Ana and Mercy. They have quite a strong healing potential. Your main objective is to make sure that the enemy dies one by one, and that can only be done if you focus on one target, and preferably the team focuses that target as well. If you just jump around and do damage to all of them, they will be able to heal up like this.
Yeah.
Okay. I think you will go down here. Yeah.
I didn't see all of what happened here, but I don't really need to.
So this again is the same situation that we saw earlier in the beginning of the game, that you went on a flanking route. They were able to notice that you are there, and you didn't really have a good chance to get away and stay alive.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I swapped to Soldier for the last couple of seconds of this round.
Okay. Again, going for the Mercy with the Soldier.
I'm not seeing
it's a really hard thing to kill without a Discord, so I would...
Sorry, I'm not seeing what's happening here.
Your job to contest.
A little damage in. And then I didn't really look to see my...
The intention was here.
I think I wanted to just find myself behind the enemy as quickly as I could.
Mm-hmm.
I kept checking the board just to see what they would have, and kind of didn't really look to see myself what they had. Just kind of relied on that sheet when I probably could have just looked at them. And I really didn't know what was going on in the choke. Pretty much,
Mm.
just went right straight for the right.
Okay. Any better solution to the current situation?
This is really good. Getting him into a mindset of thinking, all right, what should I have done instead? Um, I think continuing to refine the question and answer process, checking in with your student to make sure that process works for them. Um, good. Uh, as long as the pacing is good for the student, this is good.
I think maybe I could have just stayed behind the team, poked a little, get a little damage in,
Mm-hmm.
and then think about what decision I'm gonna make from there.
Okay. All right. When you flank like this, it's really important to make sure that the enemy doesn't have a backliner who is just staying behind doing damage. So if they have a Torbjorn, you can't really go to the point because the turret will just auto lock you and kill you. And yeah, they had a Hanzo all along, and he was setting up at this position and at this position. So you could have expected that he is going to be around. That's a thing that you need to pay a little bit more attention to. And yeah, also the other solution to stay with your team, make sure that they can push in and wait for the good opportunity to go in instead of trying to flank alone. Okay.
Right.
Um, Another thing regarding the aim. So we have a video about crosshair placement.
Hmm.
Not sure if you are familiar with that, but what I want to tell you about is basically the content of that video is that you any time when you can expect that the enemy can be close at all. I usually do this all the time if I pay attention, but you just want to make sure that the crosshair is at the head level because it will make a lot easier to flick to the enemy's head when it is already on top, and it will also allow you to see more from the game because when you are just watching the floor, you are basically not seeing the top half of your screen, what you could see if the crosshair was centered. All right,
Got it.
that's a general tip for all characters, but it's most important with the DPS. All right, getting back to the fight. Getting all the picks right. Need to get out from there or so and making the mercy focus careful. Basically after Bertha getting solo and because he can just one shot you, careful of where you step because he can just one shot you easily. After getting solo and basically after burning your recall here, you just want to make sure that you stay alive. You shouldn't try to get in and personal, close and personal with the enemy. You just need to get out from there or hide or do something else until the recall gets up again. Instead of that, you challenge the Hanzo, you go close to the hog, and it was just lucky that you didn't go down here.
So while I'm waiting for that recall to come back, should I just be in a safe spot, just kind of poking? Should I be hiding? What would be the best? What would have been the best move for me to do at that point?
I when you are in a good distance from your team that you can blink back behind them, I usually recommend to play the role of the backline DPS and do damage for your team. Until the recall is available again, you are not really able to do anything meaningful. You can't really dive into the enemy team only if someone is really low and you are sure that you can blink in, kill, and blink back. So it is usually recommended to stay back behind the team. If the team is too far away, You could go for the health packs that are around. That's another thing that you can do. Instead of going for the Hanzo, you could have turned and try to reconnect with your team through the stairs. If you are getting damaged, then go for the health packs instead of going towards the enemy. But here it wasn't really safe to go for the health pack here. So reconnecting with your team is the recommended action here. Getting back behind them, making sure that they can see you, making sure that they can see you, and not exposing yourself.
I'm interested to hear at this point, and this is your call whether you want to do this student by student, but how his team will be helping him, how the other team, their strengths and weaknesses. Obviously, the fact that they have a Hanzo is a little bit of a problem. The fact that the Hanzo is playing the way that he is also a little bit of a problem. But just thinking about maybe it's not advanced enough for this student. This student may be a really good player. But just thinking about how the rest of the team comp and the map will work to his advantage and against him as well as a tracer. But it seems like the Q&A format is going pretty well. The student is responding. He doesn't always have an answer, but he seems to like this method.
Filling up somehow. Yep. Alright, what can you tell me about this positioning right here?
I can't see what's going on here.
That's basically full front line. That was okay.
So yeah, I think that's it. I don't think I can see what's happening.
Right. Wanted to stop the side before.
Hit 3 on 3 off.
Again, crosshair placement could be a...
Okay, so yeah, overall I would say just be aware of potential pacing issues with the Q&A. Be aware of the student becoming discouraged if they don't know the answer during the Q&A. I liked your use of visuals early on. It seems like the visuals were, for the most part, pretty effective. I couldn't tell how they were being used later just because of issues with the video, but yeah, I think tying into general theory, you do a good job of bringing it back to broad concepts, and it's really fine work. It's very specific. You do a good job of bringing it back to the general theory of the game, and yeah, that's I really like your work. There is I think and you may do this at the end of the session. It looks like this video cut out, but I would want to go over what notes your student has, or what general like sound bites, like, you know, when in doubt, stay out, as far as you know, when to run into the back line in a particular situation. I don't know if there's, and some concepts won't convert to a simple soundbite like that, but some could. And then going over what drills they need to be doing. You mentioned practicing with the bots earlier on. I liked that. Giving him steps with which he can move forward, and also putting priority on those steps and saying which one is number 1, which one is number 2, which one is number 3. That's important. And how much time to spend on each one. Something that's really challenging for a newer player like me is is how much time do I spend practicing with bots? How much time do I spend just playing competitive? How much time should I spend in deathmatch? For many players, it's really about economizing on that process. So, yeah, I think your method of communication is generally very clear. That's good. The words you use, I don't ever feel like I'm not understanding what you want the student to do. Uh, you often offer, instead of A, do B. So that's nice. And you praise the student when he does well, and this student seems to be a pretty good player, so he's often doing things very well. Okay, so that is it for this review, and I look forward to speaking with you further.